Have you ever looked up and thought, how did I even get here? Maybe you're checking all the boxes. You feel like you're actually building the momentum you've been looking for, but deep down, you feel this disconnect, right? That's what autopilot is. And it's costing you more than you actually think. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. My name is Kyle Nelson. I'm one of the co-founders of Reset OS, where we help coaches and entrepreneurs reconnect with what they do and why they do it through a clarity operating system that realigns them with their personal purpose and their professional alignment. Today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to stop living on autopilot. When you're checking those boxes, you feel like you're building momentum, but at the end of the day, you're feeling disconnected, right? All of those things are costing you a lot more than you think. And it's actually costing you future dividends that you might not be realizing today. You know, there's this notion of always doing, always moving forward, all this momentum we have in life, always feeling like we need to be productive and hacking away at our business and other parts of our life. But when we're always doing, we're never being. We're never just being a human and sitting in stillness and solitude and thinking and feeling again. We're truly never being. So there's some signals that you can tell on when you're living on autopilot and how to actually stop that process. So let's talk a little bit about, stopping running your life on cruise control and how to take back the steering wheel, because that's really, really important. When you're living on autopilot, it's literally just like a Tesla driving you around. You have really no input besides, oh, I'm heading in this direction, but are you really heading in that direction? So I'm going to show you a little bit about how to recognize the autopilot in your business and personal life and why it's so dangerous for high performers like you and what you can do today to start living more intentional again. There's going to be some practical steps in this video that you can really take aligned actions with moving forward, and some breakthrough tools that we have to offer that can really help you take back that autopilot and the steering wheel. And we're not just going to be taking a break, right? A lot of us think, oh, I need to take a break. I need to take a step back and just kind of rethink things. That's not what it is. You need a full reset. It is what it is. So we're going to jump into that a little bit more as well. But first, what is autopilot living, right? Now, when I say autopilot, I'm sure there's a lot of reactions, a lot of feelings and emotions that pop up. And you're probably thinking, oh, that's not me. Well, most likely it is you, right? So when you're in autopilot, you're not reacting, right? You're truly not choosing. You're being reactive to it all. And so when you slip the choice out of your hands, you slip the choice out of your intentions, you're actually in a reactive mode. And you need to recalibrate that mind. So no longer are you being reactive and you're actually making the choice moving forward. Maybe you've really lost the why behind your actions and you just are kind of doing and you're in this process and not being anymore. And you know what the what is, but you're not connecting it with the why anymore. And we're no longer being present, right? Productivity has completely replaced the presence in our life. And that's a dangerous zone to be in, but it's okay because there's signals that can really teach us that. For an example, you could be going through an entire day, and when someone asks how your day was, you're barely remembering what happened. That's autopilot. You're not using your true intrinsic power that you have as a human during the day. Instead, you're just in the hum of life, moving forward. And so if you're feeling like at the end of the day, your significant other, your kids, one of your good buddies, family friend member goes, how was your day? And you're like, man, well, it was good. Or, oh man, it was rough. No, you don't really remember. You're avoiding because you don't really know it. So let's really dive into some of the cost of autopilot. First is going to be the emotional numbness or burnout that you eventually are going to go through or you are going through. When we go through an emotional numbness, you really aren't affected by anything and you are no longer being present in the moment. You're not being intentional or self-aware of your feelings and the way that you're maybe coming off into other people. And that will equal pure burnout. And burnout is such a big topic to unfold. But most of us understand what burnout is, but we never relate it to us until we're at the breaking point. And we want to remove that likeliness by not being on autopilot in life. You may find that part of the cost of autopilot in life is you have disconnected relationships. You catch up with somebody, but you're not really there and present because you're thinking about all the other stuff. That is the autopilot going while your spirit is saying, no, enjoy this conversation with this person. Maybe you're not connected with your significant other or kids anymore, and you're wondering what's wrong with them. A lot of times that's a signal that there's actually something you need to work on. And they're out there really going, hey, I need you. I want to talk to you. I want to be us again. But we immediately jump into this reactive mode because it could never be us because we're high achievers. We're working hard. You don't get it. You don't understand what I'm going through. I've had so much experience. A lot of it's the ego, which we need to understand. The ego is the enemy that we need to remove. And the ego is typically driving that autopilot. Maybe you're making these misaligned business decisions, right? When you're on autopilot, you're not making business decisions with alignment. You're making them on what is the quickest dopamine hit and the quickest reaction we can make to something, typically tied to money or scale. But maybe there's other domino effects we're not seeing, and we're not actually looking at the full picture because we need to move fast, right? We're business owners, we're coaches, we're entrepreneurs. We need to move as fast as possible. Or maybe you just feel like there's this loss of creativity in the way that you are operating, or a lack of passion behind what you're doing. Again, you're simply moving, but you're not actually being moved by anything anymore. You're just being pushed forward, but you don't know where that push is coming from, but you know you have to keep going. Because what other option do we have, right? We just got to keep moving forward. That's what we are taught and programmed as individuals moving forward, or individuals in this world, is just to keep moving forward. And that's something we need to avoid. Because if we don't see the direction we're actually heading, we could end up being stranded on the side of the road. And that's not where we want to be. So here's 4 signs you've been living on autopilot. First is you crave distractions more than solitude. A lot of times we say, man, I just need some time to myself. I just need to take a step back. What is the first thing we typically do when we do that? The doom scroll. We start going through our phone and we start looking at emails. We start looking at notifications. We start looking at the TikToks and the Snapchats and the Instagrams and the Facebooks. We go straight there because we want to continue the numbness. That is literal momentum. That is literally an escape, not a direction. You are trying to escape reality by numbing yourself. And then an hour went by and then you're just frustrated because you didn't have an actual time alone, because you're actually just craving a distraction to avoid what's going on in your life. Number 2 is you're busy but unclear, right? It's like I said earlier, it's that momentum without direction. It's like you're in a hamster wheel. You're sprinting. You're going as fast as you can. But you notice you get off and you're in the same location. You're like, what happened? I was just sprinting. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. That's momentum without direction. Can you imagine being a hamster? That's probably where you're stuck right now, and you probably could relate. Number 3 is you feel off, but you don't quite know why. There's this internal misalignment that has no space to speak because you're just pushing forward. And you're like, what is going on? I'm quote unquote successful. I'm building a business. I have a good marriage. I have wonderful children. My health is in place. Something feels off. You can't quite feel it. That is because your inner deep voice is quiet. You have no internal dialogue, and all it is really the anxiety in your mind moving forward on the decisions you need to make. So there's this internal misalignment that has no space to speak. And the 4th one is you can't remember the last time you actually felt still, right? You're never actually resetting. You're just always optimizing. What's the new productivity hack? What's the new efficient way of doing something in my life, right? But are we actually just feeling still? Are we feeling inner peace? Probably not. And probably when you go on that vacation, right, and you actually commit to yourself and to others, you're turning the notifications off. You may feel that inner peace and stillness. And then you come back saying, man, that was really good. I need a vacation from my vacation. So number 4, you can't remember the last time you felt still. So something that you need to remember as we wrap this up, the opposite of autopilot isn't hustle. It's not changing direction and grabbing the wheel quickly to know you need to go in the right direction. It's not that. And I think so many of us, we go in that direction thinking that's what it is, and it's not. It's actually our intention in it. It's bringing more intentionality into the decisions we're doing, to the moments of our life, to when you have a conversation or a meeting or you're with somebody, you actually turn off the distractions and you take a sit back and actually listen and process and reflect and then make decisions. The most wise people in the world are the ones when you ask them a question or they hear a group talking or someone talking, they take some time to actually process and then speak. They think, they create stillness and quietness. And sometimes you get chills from those moments, or you're like, what's up with this guy? Why can't he answer me quick enough? Because that individual is wise and they're diving into their wisdom. And they want to make sure every single word that comes out of their mouth is pure value and something that's actually going to attribute an intention into the conversation. I was in autopilot for years. For years, I was in autopilot. I was building business, a multi-million-dollar company. I had lost everything in my life, my house, my parents' house, my business, miscarriages, losing money. I was in complete autopilot with the feelings I had in my life. And I was just going. I was just numb. I was diagnosed with severe anxiety, PTSD, and depression because I was going through so much and I was suppressing my feelings. But the second I realized I needed to actually reconnect with who I was and take a reset and take a step back and realize I needed more intention in my life and the decisions and the conversations I'm having. So when someone has a conversation with me, they take a step back and think, man, I want more of that guy. I want more of him. I want more conversations. I want more wisdom. That is when I realized I could take back the wheel. But it wasn't a quick jerk. It was a slow and steady, let me take back the wheel and start driving in my lane. Because right now, most likely you're in someone else's lane because you're chasing a dollar. You're chasing success. Or maybe you don't know what that momentum is chasing. That's where we came out with 1 and 3 day solo reset retreats as a clarity tool for individuals that just need clarity in life. And they need to understand where they need to bring that intention and how they can actually take a step back. It's to help people step away from the noise, the external, the notifications, the autopilot, reflect deeply and reconnect with what actually matters in life. And that's really, really important because most likely right now, from the outside, everything's amazing, but in the inside, there may be pain. From the inside, you may be struggling and your inner voice is so quiet. It's so minute in your heart and soul, but really you just need to let it turn up and help you guide and pilot the direction you need to go. It's a physical experience that we help people through on our retreats. There's a framework behind it called the Reset Framework, where you begin with removing the noise, you engage what's present, you see what's true, you envision what's next, and then you take aligned action in life. We have the framework ready to go for you. So if you're done, if you're absolutely, completely ready to throw in the towel and done living on autopilot and running in that direction, we have the program for you. Check out the retreats that we have. They're on your own because the real breakthroughs happen with you and your voice, not someone else doing it for you. So remember, sometimes you don't need to actually escape your life. You just need to reconnect with it. And that's the difference between actually stepping away and actually stepping away is a reconnection. Thank you so much for joining. If you like this content, please subscribe or follow us. We love just helping individuals reconnect before there's self-destruction and harm in their life that they don't realize. And I am here to help you see what you can't see in your life. Check out our website at www.resetos.co or add me on LinkedIn. Just type in Kyle Nelson. You'll find me. Until next time, we'll see you in the next video.